So people can just make up rules now.
Welcome to 2 Cents Boxing, where we talk everything boxing. Make sure to punch that like and subscribe button. Seriously, hit it like it owes you money. Want to go the extra mile? Drop a super chat or donate to the Cash App, because who doesn't love supporting quality content? Catch me live every Friday at 6:30 p.m. and Sunday at 5 p.m. See you there.
Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm Jay, and this is our 2 cents, where we talk everything boxing, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. In today's video, we will be discussing Turki Sheik and a tweet he put up about boxing styles. But before we do that, make sure you punch that like and subscribe button, and make sure you let me know and drop it below your 2 cents as I go throughout the video. So Turki Sheik recently put up a tweet about how he feels about fighters that quote unquote run around the ring. Now I'm gonna put the tweet up and we gonna read it, and we're gonna do this video a little backwards today. Normally I give you the word on the YouTube streets and then I give you my 2 cents, but today I'm gonna give you my 2 cents, but I want you to make sure you stick around to the end of the video, because I'm gonna go through and explain why my 2 cents is my 2 cents. So first, let's take a look at the tweet that Turki Sheik put up. It says, and I quote, "From this point on, I don't want to see any more Tom and Jerry type boxing matches where one fighter is running around the ring and the other is chasing them. We can no longer support these kind of fights with Riyadh season in the ring. We want to support fighters who leave it all in the ring and fight with heart and pride." Now let's unpack this tweet for a second, right? He says, "From this point on," meaning right now, from this point on, meaning I, Turki Sheik, don't want to see any more Tom and Jerry boxing matches. Now, my first question would be, Turki, what constitutes as a Tom and Jerry boxing match? What is that? What is a Tom and Jerry boxing match? Where one fighter is running around the ring and the other fighter is chasing them. Now, if a fighter is running around the ring, is there not, and for their offense, is there not a defense for the fighter that's quote unquote chasing them to stop him from being able to run around the ring? It's called cutting the ring off. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't like for fighters to run around the ring. I don't want to see fights like that either. However, I don't think you can tell a fighter they can't fight like that. For the most part, we're going to get into it, right? So, it's this thing that's been going around the YouTube streets, the quote unquote no running rule, where, you know, you got people got petitions online, people signing this no running rule, and I'm trying to figure out, what does that mean, the no running rule? Can somebody specify what that means? Can somebody specify what that looks like? Can somebody specify what happens if you violate the rule? Do you get a warning? Do you get a point deduction? Like, what happens when you violate the quote unquote no running rule? And then he says we can no longer support these kinds of fights with Riyadh season in the ring. Okay. So basically, Riyadh season and the ring don't want Tom and Jerry fights. Riyadh season and the ring. Y'all keep that in mind. Riyadh season and the ring don't want those fights. Now, mind you, I never heard PBC come out and say, I don't want fighters running around the ring. I never heard the Zone come out and say, I don't want fighters running around the ring. I never heard Top Rank come out and say, I don't want fighters running around the ring. I never heard them come out and say that. So I'm just curious why Turki is saying that. I'm just curious. Because really, the only person that really ran around the ring, so to speak, was Devin Haney on the Fatal Flop card. Ryan Garcia got dropped and put his hands in his pocket. He wasn't necessarily running around the ring. So I'm just curious, like, What do you mean you don't want to see any more running around the ring fights? How many running around the ring fights did you see? Like, how many fights was it that you seen that got you to this point where you're like, I don't want any more running around the ring fights. We're not doing that here at the ring in Riyadh. And he says we want to support fighters who leave it all in the ring and fight with heart and pride. So when I read this tweet, the first thing I thought was like, who are you, Turkey? Who are you? You don't want to see any more Tom and Jerry fight. Okay, cool. You putting the money up. You putting the money up. You making the matches. You making the fights. So if you don't want to see fights where it could be potentially running around the ring, then don't match those type of fighters up with fighters. It's called matchmaking. All you have to do is not put those type of fighters in the ring. That's all you have to do. So moving forward, people will understand what type of fighters will be fighting with Riyadh season and the ring. But again, it's subjective to what do you mean by running around the ring? Because there are some people that believe that level of that thinking could turn into a racism issue because of the styles and the way certain fighters fight, i.e. Cuban and African Americans with the slick style, the moving, the this, the that, the blah, blah, blah. Some people could say that's running. For example, some people said Floyd Mayweather was running around the ring. They said Floyd, all he did was run. So you telling me Floyd Mayweather would never have an opportunity to fight with the ring in Riyadh season? Because according to you, he don't fight with all his heart and his pride, Turkey? Because the consensus from people was that all he do was run around the ring. And again, I don't want to see fighters just lateral movement, jab, lateral movement. I don't want to see that either. However, the fighting that way has its own consequences. You don't need to make a rule. You don't need to make a rule. You don't need to make a rule, and you need to do better matchmaking. So then I started thinking back to the ABC when Turkey was talking all this. He gonna do this and he gonna do this with TKO and he gonna do this and all this other stuff, right? And so we're gonna read this and then I'm gonna show you in the article the exact statement that was made. It says the Association of Boxing Commissions, ABC, has expressed its concerns regarding a potential amendment to the Muhammad Ali Act related to Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh's new boxing promotion, TKO. The ABC is working with the TKO UFC to ensure that the ABC remains part of the federal law. The statement also clarifies that a boxing event needs to meet certain criteria to be considered professional boxing, including medical requirements, round length, judging standards, glove size, and weight classifications. So that means that the judging standards have to be the same. Whatever rules are already put in place for the judging, those are the rules that you already have to go by, Turkey. So because you don't want to see no more Tom and Jerry type fights with Riyadh season and the ring, are you going to make a change with the way the judges are judging in order for you to make that happen? Which would mean that your event is no longer a professional boxing event because you're changing the judging standards? Because that's what would happen. He's already been warned from the ABC about this. And let me show y'all what they said. I couldn't find the exact thing, but here's the quote from the statement. It says, "It is the sense of the Association of Boxing Commission that for a pugilistic match to be called professional boxing, an event must meet certain criteria, that would include minimum medical requirements, round lift, judging standard, glove size, and weight classification. The term boxer means an individual who fights in a professional boxing match, and because the ABC in the published United Rules has defined a boxing match as one in which each round shall consist of 3 minutes with 1 minute rest period, blah, 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 right? So they basically letting Turkey know that, they basically letting Turkey know the rules are already in place. You're not about to come in here and change nothing. And if you can, Turkey. You can change whatever you want for Riyadh season in the ring, but it will not be considered a professional boxing match. And I just, this is just me like being logical. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Let me know and drop it below if I'm overthinking it. But they talking about a no running rule, and Turkey talking about from this point on, I don't want to see and this and that. Like, I don't know if he just putting that out there to the, hey, listen, if you fighting in Riyadh season, I don't want to see that. I don't care how you fight. I don't care if your style is lateral movement, jab. I don't care what you got going on. You better come and fight over here in Riyadh season. You can't do that running around. What happens if they do the running around? What happens if they do the running around? But I don't want to make this a long video. I wanted to cover this one thing real quick. And then y'all let me know and drop it below what you think about what I'm saying. Am I overthinking it? Am I tripping? Or am I right on point? So this is the Association of Boxing Commission Combative Sports Boxing Judge Manual. This is the rules right here, y'all. I'm not making it up. I'm showing you. Factors to be considered. These are the 4 basic things to be considered in a fight. Clean and effective punches, effective aggression, ring generalship, and defense. Let's focus on ring generalship real quick. Let's read that. This is the thinking boxer. The boxer who, while punching or using clever footwork or moves, can keep their opponent off balance. This is the boxer that has controlled the action. The boxer who, by using feints or slips, makes their opponent not only miss, but then is able to put themselves in an offensive position. This is a fighter that put themselves in a position to score and not to be scored up on. Running and simply avoiding action should not be rewarded. It's already in the rule book, y'all. I don't know why y'all trying to make up a new no running rule when it's already in the rule book. If you're running around the ring, you're not going to win the round because it should not be rewarded. If you want to do anything else than what this says to quote unquote implement a no running rule because it's something you don't want to see, it will not be deemed professional boxing because you're making up your own judging criteria. Now, if you want to say, listen, we not counting rounds where you're running around because simply avoiding the action is not going to be rewarded. Because guess what it says? It says the boxer who, by using feints or slip to make their opponent not only miss, but put themselves in an offensive position to be able to punch back. So we got to get real. These are the rules. It's already in the rule book. So I just wanted to come on here and make this point real quick because I keep hearing this no running rule and this and that, and I get it. People don't like the style. People don't want to see it, and I don't want to see it either. But the rules are the rules. It already says that if somebody is doing that, they shouldn't be rewarded. So anything other than that, I don't know what other new rule you're trying to make up or whatever, what else you're trying to do, because anything outside of the ABC rules that's already been made, you're trying to control a fighter's style. And to me, that's just not cool. Fighting like that has its own. Oh, y'all ain't even see it. Hold on, let me pull it up. Let me share the screen again. I forgot to take down the tweet. But we'll run through it again. Here we go. So y'all can see it for yourself. There it go right there. Running and simply avoiding action should not be rewarded. It's right there in the rules. Y'all see it right there. Look, Association of Boxing Commissions and Combative Sports Boxing Judge Manual. This the manual. I went to the website, downloaded the manual, looked up the rules, seen that it was already a rule that if anybody is running around the ring and not engaging, it should not be rewarded. It's already right there in the rules. Like I don't there's nothing else we need to do or say about it. And if Turki is sick of it and he don't want to see that on the Riyadh season and the ring, and he feels like, and I don't know if that's like just a message out there, like, hey, I don't want y'all doing that. And if he does feel like that, and people do feel like, okay, well, since you're saying you don't want to see X, then you're kind of discriminating against these style of fighters. Because again, what is running? We have what the ABC boxing commission says running is, but apparently Turki got a different definition of running, and we need to know what his definition of running is. Because running is simply avoiding action. You're not gonna win the round. But let me know what you think about Turki Al-Sheikh and the no running rule, and how he feel about that type of style, and is it just too subjective? Should we just stick to the ABC rules that we got? Well, I guess you have to, or whatever you're doing is not going to be deemed professional boxing. But let me know what you think by dropping your 2 cents below in the comments. You can follow me on IG at 2 cents boxing, or you can follow me on X at 2620. Make sure you click this video that pops up and take a look at it. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. And stay tuned for my next video. Peace.